Hello, I'm Brandon House, and welcome to The Straight Way with your host, Usama Daktak. What are we going to talk about in this program, Usama?
Well, we're talking about another lie for all our children, especially now for our young ladies who are going to be leaving the high school as Muslim. See, Brother Brandon, we used to lose our children when they get to college. Now we lose them to Islam when they are still in high school. Women in Islam, lies about women in Islam.
All right, by the way, Usama's website is thestraightway.org, thestraightway.org. Visit his website. You can find out about his speaking schedule, maybe book him to come speak for your group, find out about his DVDs and books and resources, as well as contribute to his foundation, to his nonprofit organization if you'd like. All that can be found at thestraightway.org, thestraightway.org. By the way, don't forget that we also carry Usama's daily radio show at worldviewradio.com, worldviewradio.com, his daily 30-minute radio program. So we carry his TV show and we carry his radio show.
And I am thankful so much for doing
Glad
so.
to do it. Glad to
God
do
bless,
it.
brother.
And by the way, if you want to get the free apps, you can take all of the radio shows and all the TV shows with you on the go. The free app is wvwtv.com/app, wvwtv.com/app. It's a free app. You can take all our radio shows, all our TV shows, many that we produce right here in our Memphis, Tennessee studios, either in our TV studio or our radio studio downstairs, where you can carry all those programs with you on the go for free as a ministry of Worldview Weekend Foundation. Now, if you want to get access to all of our radio and TV shows that are archived, all of them archived in the Situation Room, you can join Situation Room at situationroom.net, situationroom.net. All right, let's get to it, Usama.
Absolutely. We'll look at the first book and the first lie about women in Islam.
This is from Human Heritage. It's a textbook, a world history book, Glencoe publisher, 2004, page 34. Quote,
No,
Islam...
342.
What did I say?
Page 34. No, it's 342. A little bit bigger than 32.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right. Page 342. Sorry. Quote, Islamic society produced some women of great knowledge and power. Reciting and memorizing the Quran was an important requirement in education.
Man, oh man. Here we got two lies in one sentence. First of all, we have powerful and great women in Islam. And the reason is because they recite and they memorize the Quran. This is a far away from...
You mean they don't have
truth.
powerful women in Islam? They're like governors and rulers and, presidents or prime ministers?
In America.
What about in Saudi Arabia?
Muslim? No, absolutely not. Not. And even if I find it, even here's a problem, Brother Brandon. Islam, as I always say, is not what I teach or some Muslim out there teach. Islam is what is written in the Quran. We don't judge the religion of Islam, which is actually, to me, it's a cult, or the faith of Christianity by what Christian or Muslims say or do, but we judge it by what is written in the book.
Right.
What's written in the Bible tell me what Christianity is. What's written in the Quran tell me what Islam is. So there's not one verse in the Quran, as you're talking about, memorizing the Quran, reciting the Quran, created these wonderful great women. No. When you know what's written in the Quran, you have nothing but slave in Islam. Women are literally second-class citizens in Islam.
So you never see the women portrayed in the Quran as being women that have great knowledge or power.
No, the opposite is true. Allah demands that Muslim women stay at home. Allah demands Muslim women not to be educated. Muhammad demands them to be illiterate. Literally, cannot read and write.
Wait. The women are not supposed to be able to read or write?
No. In Islam, and I'm talking about the religion, because you go to Egypt, you find a lady, she's a doctor, or a lady, she's a teacher, or in some position of whatever job.
But if you really are following the Quran, then women are not even supposed to be able to read or write.
I will show you in the Quran. I'm not making this up. So let's move on to the answer for this first lie. We read in Quran chapter 33 and verse 33 the following.
And stay in your houses, and do not display yourselves like the display of the first of ignorance, and perform the prayer and bring the legal alms and obey Allah and His apostles. Surely Allah only desires to put away the uncleanliness from you, people of the house, and purify you purification.
Now, when Allah is speaking to the women, to every Muslim believer, they must stay at their home. When you go to Saudi Arabia and you investigate women status as workers, there's no women work whatsoever in any place, not in the government and not in privacy. And I know how Muslims respond to this here in America. But say, well, this is culture. This is Saudi Arabia. No, it's not culture. Allah commands Muslims to stay in their homes, which means what? Which means they cannot work in any jobs, not in private job or in government job. That is the true status for women in Islam. They stay at their houses. period. And it's more complicated than that, Brother Brandon, because the more you study about Islam and the women position in Islam, and by the way, that's a very dear topic to me. And in the near future, I would love to do one program with you just about women in Islam. Maybe take us 3-4 programs to go in depth. Right now, we're just answering the lies which taught in our textbooks. But in the future, I'd like to do a full study about women in Islam. So when you study the women position in Islam, they're not supposed to leave the house by themselves. They're not supposed to leave the house with any stranger. As we're going to see, what khilwa, being alone with a man, causes women, literally, it costs them their life. They only can leave the house with their husband, with their sons, with their father-in-laws or their fathers. So women doesn't have the freedom to go on to work and come back from work 8 hours later. No, she have to be with one of maharim. Maharim, which is a man in her family she cannot be married to.
Well, I've read where women have been stoned or caned for being out in public without the proper male.
Absolutely, because the shame which women bring to the family. And by the way, the textbook talk about that as well.
What does the next book?
No, as we continue with our study. But from Quran chapter 33 and verse 33, we'll learn a very important fact. Women, Muslim women, a true Muslim believer, stay at their homes. They're not free like American women. They go for education, go for a job, and go for life. No, you cannot do that. Now, here's what Muhammad taught about education. Should we teach our women or not? Read what Allah's apostle Muhammad said in this hadith.
He said, quote, "Do not let the woman into all of the rooms, and do not teach them how to write. Teach them to spin and recite Surah Al-Nur."
Surah Al-Nur. That's Quran chapter 24. So Muhammad here is telling the Muslim believers how he treats the women. Keeps them in the house. Same thing, similar to what we just read in the Quran. Quran chapter 33, verse 33. But he said, don't teach them how to write. Don't educate them. I love it how, as we're going to see this in the future program, as I said, you see that Muslims, really, they're creating huge lies by telling us that, oh, the Quran teach women could be educated like men. No, Muhammad never even command his men to be educated. All what he wants them to learn is how to ride horses and camel, how to use spears and swords and the weapon of war in his days, how to be a good swimmer for the purpose of war, to invade countries. But Muhammad in nowhere taught his men or anybody of his people to be educated. No education whatsoever, as we see in this hadith, but only to memorize Quran chapter 24, Surah Al-Nur. And by the way, when you read Quran chapter 24, Surah Al-Nur, you find that women have a lower position than any other chapter in the Quran. And Muhammad wanted them to memorize Quran chapter 24, to make them believe and assure them that they are there to be the Muslim women as Allah commanded, to be literally second-class citizens. That is what Muhammad taught the women, men in Islam, about women education. And let's go to another lie in another textbooks about women.
World History, Pearson Prentice Hall, 2007. Page 491, quote, "Women as wives and mothers have an honored position in Saudi society," end quote.
Can you imagine that?
I know that's not true.
They could not pick up any city. You know, I maybe can go with this lie if you go maybe Egypt or go to Turkey or go to Lebanon. Some other can. But Saudi Arabia, they could not pick up any worse country to talk about one position but Saudi Arabia. Now, obviously, that's a big lie, and we know that's a lie. Here is the answer from the text for this lie in the textbooks. We read.
It says, most Americans and European women would not agree with this statement. It's well known that women are limited members of Muslim society in most other ways. The Economic World Forum 2009 Gender Gap Report ranks Saudi Arabia 130 out of 134 countries for gender parity. It was the only country to score a 0 in political empowerment.
See what I'm saying here? If they have picked up Egypt, it will be a much better country for them. But don't forget that this material has been put in our textbook by Saudi Arabian money. So obviously, they want to brag about their own country, brag about their own women. And if you dig it even in to say, why do you say that? They'll tell you, because we protect them, because we give them the position of honor, because there are less raped women in Saudi Arabia than other countries, because that's for their own good, Brandon. Don't take it wrong. It's we will keep them in prison at the house to be good Muslim women to protect them.
Let's say that they are raped by a man.
Yeah.
And she says, this man raped me, and here are the here are the bruises. Let's say they get DNA.
Well, first of all, in Islam, they do not use DNA because DNA is bid'ah, is invention. And every invention is from Satan.
Okay, so no DNA to prove that the woman who the woman was raped by. But let's say she says, okay, I was raped.
Yeah.
Let's say another woman witnessed it and said, yes, that man raped her.
Well, one witness is not enough. We're going to get into this as we continue.
In
our
another
study.
show?
No, in that show.
In this one?
Absolutely.
In this one, okay.
So, but I'm glad you're opening this.
At least I'm
because
thinking
it's very important.
Yeah.
It's very important to know about that. Let's continue with this here.
Women have almost no rights and experience many abuses under Sharia, Islamic law. For example, women can be blamed for sex crimes committed against them. In some cases, victims of sexual assault are punished for, how do you say that?
It's the word khilwa. Khilwa is to be alone without the
Bless you.
male man. Thank you. Anytime.
I thought you sneezed there for a minute.
No. That's to be alone without a male, one of the father-in-law, son-in-law,
Okay.
something like that.
All right. Being alone with an unrelated male. Prior to the assault, in the...
Khatf. The word khatf is to be kidnapped.
I thought you had to clear your throat there. Kidnapping girl rape case. An 18-year-old victim of kidnapping and gang rape was sentenced by a Saudi court to 6 months in prison and 200 lashes. Yet she was the one that was sexually assaulted.
Yes, indeed. But here's the problem. She was out by herself without a male.
Oh.
She opened herself to be raped.
She was asking for it.
She was asking for it. It's always like that. You know what's sad, Brother Brandon? That we have cases.
But yet
in the
Islam
Muslim
is
world.
all about empowering women and taking care of women and
Yep.
upholding women.
Yep,
and all of
absolutely.
these feminist female teachers in America are so excited that we're teaching about Islam.
Absolutely. I wish we can take all these women to live in Saudi Arabia or many of the Muslim countries just for a week.
Yeah.
Not for a month or a year, just for 1 week. They come back here, kiss the dirt under their husband's feet. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding.
Because
Brother
their
Brandon.
husbands treat them so well.
They're free women in America. They will have this freedom in the Middle East. If you go to Quran chapter 24, and by the way, this is Islam. Everybody knows that. We're going to talk about it in depth later in the future. But for now, we know about his own wife, Muhammad's own wife, Aisha, the child wife, and she was accused for having a sexual relationship with another man.
This is when he married when she was 6,
That's the woman, the child he married when she was 6.
and he then supposedly...
She literally spent the night with a man by the name Safwan, and the people know that she committed adultery with this guy.
How old was she at this point?
She died. Muhammad died when she was 18, so before she turned 18.
Wow.
So she may be a teenager or something. And 3 eyewitnesses came for it. They came out. They said, "Yep, we saw what happened." Muhammad stayed in his house for a whole week. He could not get out, waiting for Allah, because if he say yes, she committed adultery. If he confess it, then she must be stoned to this. And he loved her so much, he doesn't want to stone her. And then Angel Gabriel came to him with the good news that she did not commit adultery. And here is the rules: 3 eyewitnesses was not enough. You must have 4 eyewitnesses. That's where we come up with the idea of 4 eyewitnesses. So from that story and from that day until today, a Muslim will tell you 3 eyewitnesses, not enough, 4. Now, so if a woman said, so and so raped me, oh, you have sex with him because he raped us, that means, oh, you commit adultery. And literally, they will not do the DNA, and she will not open her mouth and say he raped me unless she can come up with 4 eyewitnesses. What is the chance in Muhammad days or even today for some woman to get raped, especially when she's raped by a member family? Sometimes the father raped his daughter. Sometimes the cousin raped his cousin. Or somebody family. So what is the chance for a father raping his daughter and she said, wait, Dad, I need another 4 people to see what you're doing to me so I can prove my innocence. There is cases, Brother Brandon, it should make American women cry blood, not water. That a woman, she was accused of committing adultery, and the father, he is the one who drops a big rock on top of her head, obviously after stoning her with small rock. And then the mother, a year later, she could not take it anymore. And she confessed it to the police that the father was the one who was raping his daughter. And he got rid of her because, of course, she got pregnant, things was out of hand. So it is sad. And Allah in the Quran, and with the wisdom of Allah in the Quran, you need 4 eyewitnesses that she proves that she's innocent. As you see this in the Quran.
Can it be 4 women?
No, the 4 men witness. I know, because in Islam the witness of 1 man equal to 2 women. You maybe need 8 women.
Oh my word! 8
It
women.
is weird. It's weird. It's a joke. But Brandon, it's not just when you talk about. See, it's easy for us in America to say a witness. in Islam, it's not just a witness. There is a sin in the Quran, and by the way, our only translation is the one who emphasizes on that sin. It's called the sin of lamam. The sin of lamam. What is the sin of lamam? It is anything a man can do with a woman without having intercourse. That is not adultery. It's a sin, but it's less than adultery. Adultery is punishable by death.
It sounds like
Stoned
something
to death.
Bill Clinton would have created.
Exactly. So here we go. If you see a man with a woman in bed naked, that does not prove that they were making love. That does not prove they committed adultery, because they just maybe performing lamam, touch and everything without having intercourse. Now, to prove the case of adultery, 4 eyewitnesses to see the intercourse act itself, and that is so difficult to prove, of course. It's so difficult. So that is what we should teach our children instead of the propaganda about the Saudi Arabia and how women are high respected.
Okay, so this is what
in
this is taught in World Cultures, a Global Mosaic, 2004, page 582. Quote, the Quran permits a man to have as many as 4 wives as long as he treats each of them equally. This means that he must give them all the same material benefits, the same amount of love, and the same degree of respect. Since few men could afford to support several wives, most men had only a single wife.
First of all, when Allah said in the Quran a man can be married to multiple wives, Allah did not say 4. That's 4 is a marriage. But in Islam, there are unlimited number of women a man can be involved
You
with.
can only be married to 4 at one time.
4 free women. But add to that, unlimited number of slaves and concubines.
Wow.
Add to that, there's marriage for misyar, as if a guy traveling all over the world as a businessman, he can have a wife everywhere he go. Add to that, there is a marriage for fun, zawaj al-mut'ah. A man can have, it's what we call in America prostitution. In the Quran, it's marriage. A man can marry a woman for a couple hours or for a half hour or for a day or 2. That does not count of the 4 wives. And there's marriage for radiyah, the marriage for the little children who are being breastfed by their mama. A man will use a child to benefit himself sexually out of her. Not having intercourse, of course, other ways. But there's sickness in Islam. So when you say 4 wives, that make it clean. No, it's not clean. As a matter of fact, as we read in the Quran now, it is more than 4 wives. It's unlimited number of women. Now, when you say that he can have her 4 if they have same amount of love and respect. What love a man have for his wife when he have a second wife? What is an equal love? When you love your wife, you treat them as you want you to be treated by the wife. If a man would like to have 4 wives, why not each one of these wives have 4 husbands to be equal? But obviously, this is a lie. So the single wife, if you cannot treat them equally, is talking about the 4 free women. If you cannot treat 4 free women equally, then 1. But besides this one, all the other women we talked about. As a matter of fact, here's the proof from the Quran. I'm not making this up. Quran chapter 4 and verse 3. Allah said,
and if you fear that you cannot deal fairly among the orphans, so have sex, marry, what appeals to you from the women, 2 and 3 and 4. So if you fear that you will not treat them equally, so 1 wife or have sex with what your right hand possesses, this is near that you may not have hardship.
by the way, once again, they never quote any verses from the Quran to support their lies about women in Islam. And when Muslim in America or in the West in general reads this verse, they always stop at so 1 and they put a period there. But that's not the end of the verse, because Allah said, or have sex with what your right hand possesses. That is concubine slaves, or the woman you hire for an hour or for a day, or the marriage for travelers or whatever. So there are plenty of type of marriages in Islam, but it's not marriage. It's literally having sex. That's not pure marriage as we know marriage in the Bible. So that is the teaching of the Quran about the number of wives. How about this lie in another textbook?
Okay, this is World Cultures, a Global Mosaic. Quote, Muslims believed that women were more likely than men to bring dishonor on the family. Women were expected to be modest and remain secluded within the home. They wore veils to conceal their faces from men who were not members of their family. In some Muslim homes, women used separate entrances and ate their meals only in the company of other women. The system gave women security.
See, it is good for them. See, I'm not going to get raped. It's like they're not going to get raped by somebody of the family, no stranger. They're treated like slaves in America years ago. Remember how slaves used to come to the house from the back door and they eat by the... You never see in the slavery days in America, the master and his wife and the kids and the slaves sit on the table and eat. I lived that in Egypt. I remember go to our neighbors as a child, and we sit and eat, me and my friend, the guy, his dad, his brother, and other men. And after we eat, then women and children sit and eat. It is so sad. And literally, this is a history of hundreds of thousands of women that they're treated as second-class citizens. They are not equal to men. But the textbooks were produced as for their own good. No, it's not for their own good. Women have no respect in Islam. Not in the culture, but in the teaching of the Quran. Listen to what Allah said in Quran chapter 33 and verse 59.
O you prophets, say to your wives and to your daughters and the women of the believers, let down their covering over them, that in this way they will be known, so they will not be harmed, and Allah was forgiving, merciful.
That's the burqa. That is a full hijab.
The burqa.
That you cover from head to toe. You don't see them. You don't see their face. And that is good for them. The imprisonment under the hijab for the Muslim ladies, it is good for them because Allah said so. It's the wisdom of Allah. They must be covered from head to toe. That's not respect for women at all. And if they don't do that and they get raped, she called for it. She walk in the street and she show her face. See, men in the Muslim world are the problem. It's not the women. Because in America here, this place you see women dressed halfway naked, but you don't see them get raped every street corner. But in the Middle East, if a woman walked in the street in a Muslim country and she was not covered in hijab and somebody raped her, it was her fault. She did not cover. If she covered herself, she would save herself from Muslim men.
Are the men in Islam much more violent and debased and immoral?
Absolutely. And Allah gives them permission to do so. So Quran chapter 6 verse 151, the verse we read about, or we're about to read right now, it's literally teaches us about honor killing. Honor killing is the command of Allah in the Quran. As a matter of fact, the verse is repeated 3 times. Quran chapter 6 verse 151, Quran 17:33, and Quran chapter 25 and verse 68. Read what Allah said in Quran 6, 151.
He said this, and do not kill the soul which Allah forbids except with a just cause.
The soul which Allah forbid to be killed is a Muslim soul. But you can kill the Muslim soul for the just cause. What is just cause? Muhammad tells the Muslim in Sahih Muslim that the blood of the Muslim cannot be shed except in 3 cases. If a Muslim commit adultery, if the Muslim commit murder, that's killing another Muslim, or if a Muslim apostate, leave Islam. So for women in Islam to be raped or to commit a sexual relationship without the 4 eyewitnesses, that means she was raped now. If you have four eyewitnesses, you're safe.
But they got to be men.
Yes, indeed.
Because a woman only counts for half
Have
a
a
man.
witness.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird. But let's go on. There's another line, another textbook.
Okay, another textbook, World Cultures, page 583 says, although the Quran made women subordinate to men, women, like all believers, were equal in the eyes of God.
So they are equal to God in his eye, but not in his words. First of all, use God, capital G-O-D, is a crime. It's supposed to be in the eyes of Allah, because we're not talking about God here. Number 2, if Allah believed that men and women are equal, why not he prove that by his word, the Quran, if the Quran is the word of Allah? Why, as we go through the Quran, we see women equal to half of a man? But in his eye, how Muslim knows that, Brother Man? Did they look through the eyes of Allah and they found out that he really liked women and men the same? Well, let's see what Allah said in his word to see if this is true or not. Quran chapter 4 and verse 34.
Men are in charge of women by what Allah preferred, some of them above the others, and by what they spend out of their money. So good women are obedient, guarding in secret that which Allah has guarded, and of whom you fear rebellion. So preach to them and separate from them in the beds and scourge them. So if they obey you, so do not seek a way against them. Surely Allah was higher big.
Allah's word said men are in charge of women. Allah's word said if a man is afraid that his wife may rebel, not if their wife rebel, if he fear she's about to rebel, you separate from them in bed, you preach to them, and you beat them. Physical beating, scourging. As a matter of fact, Ibn Kathir interprets the scourging to be light beating does not cause broken bones or shedding of blood.
Oh, so as long as you don't break their bones or
shed
shed blood.
By the way, bruises all over the skin, that's okay. That's a very
That's a light
accepted-
beating.
That's a light beating, absolutely.
A loving,
How-
peaceful Quran, isn't it?
Is it? Is it very respectful for women?
Boy, they love women.
How about Quran chapter 4, verse 11?
Allah commands you concerning your children to the male like the portion of two females.
So if a father die, he left $100. The son get 50, and each one of his daughter, if two daughters, get 25. That's not an equal treatment in the case of inheritance. How about Quran chapter 2 and verse 282 concerning the witnesses here?
So if the debtor was mentally deficient or weak or cannot dictate, so let his friends dictate with fairness and call two witnesses from your men. So if there were not two men, so one man and two women of those among whom you are pleased for witnesses, so that if one of them should make an error, the other may cause her to remember.
Because women are stupid. They
Yeah.
forget.
They can't remember what happened
Can't
5 minutes
remember.
ago.
Yes, indeed. No, but the truth is the opposite. We use one side of our brain at the time. Women are very smart. They use right brain and left brain at the same time. But that's not adultery, of course. You need two witnesses for the in case of inheritance. And you need two guys, if not one guy and two women. That's why I tell you the witness of a woman equal to half of a man. How about if we go to this next hadith here?
This is a hadith. Muhammad said if there is a bad omen in anything, it is in the house and the woman and the horse.
Which means what? Women are bad luck. That's exactly what Muhammad said. This is Islam. I mean, I told you, Brother Brennan, I don't judge Islam by what I say or anybody else out there say. I look what Allah said and what Muhammad said. And this topic is so big, we'll cover it in the future, as I said, in details, in a little bit more detail.
World Geography from a book 2005, page 506 to 507. Religious duties shape lives. Despite its rapid modernization, some aspects of Muslim culture have remained the same for centuries. If you travel to Southwest Asia, one of the first things you would likely notice is that women cover their heads, hair, and sometimes faces with a scarf or veil.
That's just what's happening in the Muslim world. Women dress in hijab. And then we continue.
This is in keeping with the belief that covering those parts of the body is pleasing to God. Women's roles have gradually expanded during the 20th century. More Arabic women are becoming educated and are able to pursue careers in other nations. Because family is viewed as very important, many women stay at home to manage affairs.
But do you know what the book said? Women have a good position, good jobs in other countries. Like in America, not in Saudi Arabia.
Right.
I mean, if it is Islam, you should see it clearly practiced in the homeland of Islam, Saudi Arabia. No, you may see a Saudi Arabia woman in America working as a teacher, as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a judge, but you'll never see her have the same jobs in Saudi Arabia. So we don't give credit in this case for Islam, we give credit for America or for Europe, the country which gives opportunity for women to have great jobs. But that's obviously not what the textbooks are going to teach our children. Here's a quick response.
This is what we should be teaching.
Of course.
Women have few rights under Sharia, Islamic law, compared to those of men. There are a few career options for women in Islamic countries. Under Sharia, fathers may kill their daughters for reasons of honor.
Honor, that's what's called honor killing.
Honor killing, yeah.
Yes.
Western women should be in rebellion if such rules were imposed upon them.
That is obviously the quick answer for women in Islam. The topic is so big, and I hope and I pray in the future as the Lord bless us with a study on women in Islam, I would like to go in depth about all what women are learning in America. Brother Brennan, women is the key for America to fall into Islam. Why? Because as you see it happening in America, the large number of people becoming Muslim are black men in the prison. The second group are white women outside in the free world. And Muslims coming to America in the hundreds of thousands. And they all fall in love with our women. I have cases all over this country. People call me from all over the country. A man who lose a daughter, a man who lose a wife, a man who lose a sister. Literally, there's Muslim are taking men's wife from them, cause them to get divorced because he fall in love with her and he marry her. And these Muslims marrying our women, not because they love our women, not because they have respect for women, because they make them citizen. They use them as a way to get the green card. And also, they produce Muslim babies out of them. I'll share this story quickly here. I was in Canada 6-8 months ago, and there's an article written about a man asking a question to the Mufti. And he said, Your Honor, your Mufti, there's a contradiction in the Quran. Allah said in the Quran that we should not have friendship with the Jews and the Christian. They're infidels. But at the same time, Allah in the Quran said we have the right to marry their women, the Jewish women and the Christian women. That's a contradiction. How you can answer that? He said, no, there's no contradiction. You don't marry her because if you're saying, he said, well, but how can I live with her? How can I love her if I'm married to her at the same time I could not take her as a friend? He said, no. There's no love in this marriage relationship. You're marrying her for three reasons: for her beauty, for her body, for her money, and that's fourth reason, to have babies out of her. So you're gonna use her as a way to become a citizen in the West, to produce Muslim baby for Allah in the West. It is a what they call peaceful jihad in the West. And he said, when you have a relationship with her, sexual relationship, you do it as a man does it to in the case of rape. You don't love the woman whom you rape. And he said, when you go to your house and your wife sit with all your children, you look at your children one at a time and you say, Assalamu alaikum. That's a Muslim greeting. Assalamu alaikum. Skip the wife. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Don't even say peace be on you to your wife, because she is an infidel. I wish American women can learn about what's the mufti. The mufti in Islam is like the Pope in the Catholic Church. It's a very high position. How he's teaching his Muslim men to treat women in the West as bunch of slaves. They're just tools, or they're used by the Muslims. They're useful idiots to help the Muslim men in America to become citizens and to produce Muslim babies. And that's all it's about. That's all it's about. Nothing else.
Thanks to Usama for another great program.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
Till next time, I'm Brandon House for Usama Doc. Take care.